Hello everybody, how are you doing? My name is SimplyVelca. Today, darling, we're going to get into a little bit of detail about the full moon in Aquarius for 2021, darling. I'm going to be answering the questions many might have of what the full moon in Aquarius even means, right? We always hear about how we have a full moon or a new moon in X zodiac sign, and many people are just like, I don't know what that means, Velka. So I talk a little bit about what this actually means for most people, and as well, I will get into a little bit of detail about for those who are looking to do a full moon ritual of whatever type. I will be explaining my approach to what it is I'm doing for my full moon rituals and talk about certain ingredients, I will call it, to add to a ritual that I feel like would be fitting for this time for the energies of this full moon in Aquarius. So if you are interested in that, keep on watching, darling. I also just want to make a note for those that are interested in being included in my full moon ritual. I always have my channel memberships open, so I have a rank called Make a Wish, and if you are interested in being included in my full moon rituals that I do personally, you're welcome to join, and I will be sure to include you in my rituals. Before we get into how the Aquarius adds the flavor to this full moon, let's get into a quick detail about what the full moon represents to those who do not know. The full moon, I personally see this as is kind of shining a light on something. The full moon represents closures and kind of the completion of things. So for those who set a created a ritual for the last previous new moon, which I got into a little bit of detail on, which I will leave a link somewhere around here. If you did a ritual, started a ritual on the new moon in Cancer, I believe it was, then we go into this full moon, which is the completion of that lunar cycle. And so at this point, you would see some type of result in whatever it is your ritual was for, right? It's going to be different for everybody, depending on how big the goal is and all the details with that, right? But the Aquarius adds a certain level of manic energy to this, as I like to say. I personally see Aquariuses kind of as like a mad scientist energy. So I kind of see this moon as like full moon as like a mad scientist, manic moon, almost. But I mean it in the best way possible, because with Aquariuses, I see them as always actively trying to find new ways to express themselves, to live in their most authentic truth, their most authentic being, and it's usually in unconventional ways. Their mind is always just racing, trying to take things to the next step, trying to develop things further and further, and challenging more so their own view of the world. And so that's kind of how I see this full moon as definitely a time of where we're going to be seeking our most authentic self and trying to find ways of expressing that in whatever facet that looks like for you. Now, be careful about rebellion, darling. At this time, this is going to be naturally with the Aquarius, this is a time of where some people might feel inclined to really, well, darling, I'm all about, stepping out of the crowd and standing out. This is going to be a time where you could be a little bit more reckless at this time if you do not handle this Aquarian energy with a bit more maturity, just like with any zodiac sign. You need that refinement to really bring the zodiac's energy into just fascinating thing about this full moon actually, and how this is going to really just make it such a juicy, interesting full moon for most people, is that the moon is going to be in conjunct with Venus. And so when you take that Aquarian energy of trying to find your most authentic self, right, and have this extremely heightened energy of the full moon, and then you get into the conjunction with Venus, this is going to be an extreme time for many of you guys really searching for intense authenticity, an intense exchange of emotions between the relationships in your life, whatever facet that looks like. This could be your relationship that you have with money, relationship with family, romantic sense, of course. It's going to vary for everybody. But how this is going to really add to our own existence during this time is that it's almost this sense of where you're not going to find yourself satisfied no matter what avenue, no matter what actions are taken. It's almost this constant quench, just as like the Aquarius is constantly quenching in the name of self-discovery and self-expression. You're going to have this really unquenchable desire for just not only just a balance in your relationships, but it's the sense of where you're wanting to experience like the emotions just to the most extreme level. Hold this standard for people where it's just like, oh, it's just not enough. It's not enough. Like, you know, you want to challenge it more. So this is similar to the new moon in the sense of where, again, going to be a pretty challenging time for the relationships in your life, because if you allow these thoughts to spiral too much, some people might be going into the narrative of where certain relationships just aren't good for them because those relationships are not fulfilling this unquenchable desire that you have at this time to fulfill your emotional needs. And so it's kind of just setting someone up to fail if you're not careful. Some of the things to be aware of at this time as well, just because of this unquenchable desire for just intense emotions, intense authenticity, for those who are trying to find their emotional outlet through other things, right? Naturally, if the relationships in your life, if the going-ons in your life are not fulfilling you, you're going to be searching for other outlets to try to fulfill you, right? And so for my emotional eaters, darling, you may find you have to catch yourself from emotionally eating too much, right? Because, you know, and this is me looking in the mirror as well, darling. If I had a mirror right now, I'd be like, okay, darling, you know, be careful about emotional eating for you to try to fill that void that's just really not going to be completely quenched, right? Because within Aquarius, they're never quite completely satisfied with their own self-expression. They feel as if they could challenge their self even more, right? So it's this constant game. It's this, you know, it's a treadmill, really, right? Where you're just constantly on this journey and it's never ending. For others of you guys, be careful about some X energy, and I don't just mean in the romantic sense. You know, this could be in terms of like past friendships, past connections, even some family members coming out of the woodworks that you haven't talked to in a long time. Because naturally, just as you guys are going to be experiencing these emotions, everyone around you, darling, is going to be experiencing those types of emotions as well. So they're going to be having that sharing the same unquenchable desire to be emotionally fulfilled and really trying to just explore everything. So you may be getting some unexpected text messages from people that you kind of put the closure on that book a while ago. And so be aware about that. I'm not going to have an opinion on how y'all handle your business, darling, because that's y'all's business. That's not my business, right? So who am I to say what you should be doing? I'm just letting you know that I wouldn't be surprised if you guys receive some type of communication from those who are also trying to find their, to quench their strong desires. I am going to be honest as well. Some of you guys, you're going to have to hold yourself accountable. Now, I'm not projecting my own opinions on it, darling, but you know, this is going to be a time of flings as well, because for many people, you're going to be searching for that gratification, trying to get that rush and just to feel something, right? So some of y'all may be getting into some mindless flings just to try to feel something. Even for some of you guys, maybe doing drugs to feel like to feel something, right? So be very aware on the emotions that you're having at this time, and try to not set yourself up to fail. To, you know, it's kind of trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom, right? It's kind of a losing battle, darling. So don't be dabbling into things that are just not going to be productive for your life in the long run. Now, darlings, let's start talking about some culty shit. Let's talk about what ingredients you can use for your full moon ritual for the full moon in Aquarius. If you are going to be working on the relationships in your life during this full moon in Aquarius, I would strongly suggest for you guys to be working with lapis. This is because lapis is not only a really good stone for communication, but it also just gives you this sense of clarity in what exactly your own thoughts are, and you're able to enunciate the things that you are wanting, the things that you are feeling. And I feel like it's really important for you at this time, while yes, we're going to have this strong desire, this strong craving to experience emotions, to experience authenticity. It's really important for us to be communicating what it is that we're wanting. We're able to understand you fully and to reciprocate, follow suit with that. Communication is going to be a big thing during this time, so people are able to understand each other's perspectives, and if there's something that you're wanting out of somebody, lapis helps you speak that truth clearly without that insecurity, and that way it gives the other person the opportunity to provide that to you, right? You want to speak what it is that you're wanting and seeking from the the relationships in your life rather than just hoping and assuming that they're going to just know, right? Give them that chance. Start working with some lapis if you want to work on the relationships in your life. For my beautifuls who are going to be working on their financial means, their career, anything in that kind of regard for this full moon in Aquarius, I would suggest to you guys to be working with some fool's gold or pyrite. And so I say this because with Aquarian's mad scientist energy, as I like to say, I feel like pyrite's energy is just a very nice grounding presence to really bring things into the physical. So with Aquarian's energy, the thing that they can sometimes struggle with is they have all these grand ideas, these ways to elevate themselves, but they don't quite put it into action because then they're trying to already challenge themselves and taking it to the next step further. So pyrite is going to be that nice complementary energy where you're able to have this high vibrational abundant energy, and have all these creative thoughts, this constant rolling gear really of you guys coming up with new ideas. But the pyrite brings this grounding sense of where you come up with an actual physical game plan for what it is that you're trying to do. It's all fine and dandy to think about a career that would be extremely fulfilling for you, but it serves you no good if you don't actually bring it into the physical. So pyrite helps y'all with that. For personal use at this time, the stone I would suggest for quite literally everybody to be working with. It doesn't matter what avenue in your life that you're trying to be working on. I feel like it's important to try to include shungite at all, if possible, in just your everyday space, because with this chaotic energy right now and just this constant craving for authenticity and just, experiencing just emotions from people, it's extremely important to ground your own thoughts, to put your own thoughts through a filter, to rationalize things really, right? And I feel as if shungite would be such a beautiful complementary energy for this, because with shungite, it's going to really be such an extremely cleansing energy, very grounding as well. Grounding energy is really going to be important during this time with the full moon in Aquarius. And so with shungite, it will take these constant rampant thoughts that you're having, slow those thoughts down and be able to put it through a filter, right? Because during this time you're going to be experiencing these extreme emotions. It's very important to have some type of filter to rationalize those thoughts and be like, all right, I'm being a little bit irrational here, right? So shungite's going to be that very nice grounding, cleansing presence for you guys, and will apply such a beautiful filter for your energy so that it means like your intent, your energy on things is always going to be from the purest, most wholesome way, if you'll like to put it that way. Page of Cups is actually going to be a tarot card I suggest for a lot of people to be working on this week, just regardless of whatever avenue in your life you're going to be doing this with, is because Page of Cups represents bringing in new opportunity, new people, as well as the deepening of current things, the deepening of current relationships, the deepening of your current opportunities that you're working on. So I feel like Page of Cups is just such a beautiful energy to be capitalizing at this time. Challenge yourself constantly of improving yourself. Page of Cups brings in this sense of we're keeping you on the right track, right? Where you're not only open to new energy still, but you're still allowing the depth to be looked into more for your current relationships, right? So it's not just a sense of where the relationships in your life are, you might be some friction, right? You can include the Page of Cups where it's like you might experience some friction trying to get this balance, trying to pull some emotion out of people, right? But the Page of Cups complements this energy in a nice way where it's like, while there might be some friction, they'll still allow the growth and more depth to your current relationships rather than it just to be like pointless stress, pointless drama, if that makes sense. Ace of Pentacles would be a fabulous one to be working with this week as well for those who are trying to do some type of financial career oriented ritual, because with the Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles representing earth energy, you already know I talk about that grounding energy, right? The Ace of Pentacles, I always say, is like that blank check from the universe, and you get to write down just how much that check is going to be worth. And so during this time, while you have all these grand ideas, again, it's almost see this as if like, you have these thoughts all in the air, and like how you could improve yourself, how you could elevate your business, how you could create more money. And the Ace of Pentacles brings this grounding energy to the Aquarian energy, and adds it to the cornucopia. It's kind of like, if you RSVP somewhere and you write down like what you're going to be ordering or like what you want to eat that night ahead of time. That's how it is. I kind of see the Ace of Pentacles as. And then finally, darlings, we have the Four of Swords. Now, for this Four of Swords, I see this as an energy of being able to kind of just let go and let God, honey, to be able to find forgiveness and to move on from things. So something you have to be aware of, Aquarius, calling y'all Aquarius, something to be aware of during this Aquarian energy is that you could find yourself obsessively trying to, again, with that balance and like desire for emotion, you could be obsessively trying to figure a situation out if you can't quite comprehend it. So with the Four of Swords, it gives this sense of where it's like, it takes away the very extreme energy that an Aquarian might have, where it's just like, they're just hyper focused on that for days on end. If that's on their mind and that's what's bothering them, they'll just hyper focus on it. Four of Swords complements this energy where it's just like, it allows you to just, see things how they are, be like, you know what, this is going to be how it's be, and then allow it to happen, right? It's going to give you a nice reprieve, right? I would say this is a very good card to be using at this time if you're searching for just some type of reprieve from the constant stress and anxiety that you might have with the current relationships in your life, even in terms of your work life and situations with that, things that are out of your hands. Instead of obsessing over how you could challenge this, how you could improve on it, you see things how they are and be like, you know what, if I can't change it right now, I can't change it right now. What am I gonna do? All right, babes, so that is all that I have for this full moon in Aquarius for July 2021. I'm super excited to be doing a full moon ritual in this Aquarian energy at this time. I am just, for me personally, I'm going to be kind of having it a little bit more career focused this time around. For me personally, I definitely want to take advantage of this full moon in Aquarius energy for creative pursuits and really elevating myself in that way. And the beautiful thing with this is that you guys get to see how that experience is going to go down, right? Because my YouTube channel quite literally is my life. So yeah, if you guys would like to be included in that, remember that I have my channel memberships, Make-A-Wish rank if you'd like to join in on that. But this is the video that I have for y'all. I hope you guys really find this full moon in Aquarius to be bountiful for you guys in whatever way that you utilize this energy. Hopefully this video was of some help. And I also want to make a note that I am going to be doing a live stream for the full moon in Aquarius. The live stream is going to be on Friday. I haven't decided a time quite yet, but on Friday you'll see it's scheduled ahead of time. So if you would like to hang out with me on the full moon, be sure to check out that live stream, y'all. And yeah, I love you guys so much. It's so fun being able to connect with you guys and just talk about a little bit more occulty stuff. So if there's a video of any type of topic that you want me to go into or anything of whatever, darling, let me know in the comments below and engage with me because I like talking with y'all. Let me know what you guys are going to be doing for this full moon. Also, just let me know. I always like to say, like, this is my own interpretation on things as well. I'm not speaking this as fact. So if you have a different perspective, I really encourage you guys to talk about it in the comments below. Share, like, I made this channel so we could all just come from different walks of life, right? And share knowledge, share perspective. This is all this is to me, sharing perspective and being able to just connect with some like-minded folks. So yeah, I love you guys so much. And if you haven't heard it today, I see you, honey. I hear you, darling. And I love you so much. This is my heart. I love you so much. Bye, y'all.